Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So I'm recording this meeting, just FYI. So we'll start at 5:30, okay?
Yes, sir.
Let some more people join. Yeah, it would be good if you could keep your videos on during the meeting. That would help me at least see your face. It's not a compulsion, but I would prefer it that way. Right, so we are at 5:30, so I always like to start my sessions on time. Good evening, everyone, once again, and thank you for being part of this meeting and welcome to this session. So I'll just outline what I expect you to do from these courses. So I know that there are four groups of people right now. One is a group which is interested in Python, second is a group interested in R, third is in Excel, and the fourth one is transitioning from management education to being a manager or being an entrepreneur. So there are 4 groups, but whatever I'm going to say right now is going to be applicable to all of you. So just listen carefully. Anyways, the meeting is being recorded, and you can always go back to the calendar and look at the video. And I will give you enough time to ask questions. So don't worry, I'm not going to go on and on with my speech, which I'm used to, but I'll give you enough time to ask questions. So first things first, I would be brutally honest. So this is a serious engagement. I'm going to give time. So I also expect you to give time. And if you think, and I've written you an email, right? You would have gone through that email. So I'm going to repeat some of that. One is, if you think that you know these topics, good, please don't attend this session, or please don't attend this signature course. If you think you are good enough and you know, it's not for you. Okay. And I expect that you will spend 4 weeks on this, which will start from next week, because next week is when I will train you somewhat, maybe have one session each with different groups. I'll have a session with Python, with R, with Excel, and I'll also have a separate session with transitioning from MBA to management group, or to business, transitioning from management to business, or being an entrepreneur group. Okay, so you have to give some 20 hours of your time in those 4 weeks, and at the end of it, I expect an output. I will tell you what that output would be. It would basically be a report which you need to upload. I will tell you the process. I will tell you the nitty-gritties. So the lecture-based thing or the workshop-based thing will be minimal. That will be only one. I'll tell you the basic things as to how to import data, how to do some basic analysis, how to manipulate data, in the sense how to get add columns, delete columns, increase a variable, remove a variable, keep a variable, things like that. And rest of the things are available on the internet. And R and Python both being open source software, and Excel being such a popular tool, that everything is available on the internet. Okay, so you need to take help from there, and if you get stuck somewhere, I'm ready to help you. But you need to use all your creativity to develop these projects. And how will this help you? So I will request you, I will tell you the process. I'll request you to upload your output on a place called GitHub, GITHUB, GitHub. I will share all that. And I will also ask you to upload your project on LinkedIn profile. I hope everybody has a LinkedIn profile. Please have a LinkedIn profile. These days, it's very important. Okay. And then you can add, obviously, that project to your CV. When you go out for placements, that will be helpful. So how does it help? If you are going for an interview, you can always showcase that link. You just have to click that, or you can send that link beforehand to the interviewer, and then that person can see it on the internet as to what your project has been done. So you have to take utmost care about what work you do, and it has to be original, because it will be available for public viewing. And all the 4 groups have to do that. So R group, Python group, Excel group, and even the transitioning group, all the groups have to upload the project onto GitHub, right? So once you do that, that's where the signature course ends, and you will get a certificate from IBS with my signature, and you can obviously add that everywhere. So the most important thing out of this is the learning that you will take, right? So certificate is not important, anything else is not important. If you are able to learn one of the tools, that's why I specified that you should choose only one course, right? No need to choose 3, 4, all of them, because you won't be able to spend time, I know. And each of them itself is such a vast subject, such a vast topic. In R, maybe I know 0.0005% of what R has to offer. Every day there are new packages coming up. Every day there are new Python topics coming up. So it's impossible to keep up. So you'll have to keep learning. But these things can be used for different machine learning tasks, different visualization tasks, and the other things which are related to data. So that is the advantage of this course. And I leave it up to you whether you want to continue. Even after this session, if you don't like to be part of this, you can always opt out of that. That's not a problem. Okay. So these are the basics. So what I want you to do is, if you are interested, if you are still interested in continuing, make an account on github.com. I'll just type that in the chat box, github.com. People who have worked in the software industry would already have an account, or maybe if you are a hobbyist a programmer who has a programming as hobby, you would already have this account. So I've just pasted that www.github.com. So create an account there. And people who are doing R, they have to make an account on rpubs.com as well. So github.com is compulsory for all the 4 groups. All of you, all 39 of you, 38 of you, please make an account there. And rpubs is only for people who are working on R. Okay. And people who are taking up R, please download RStudio onto your systems. Please download RStudio on your systems. It could be a laptop, desktop, whatever. It's an open source package. So please download that. And people who are doing Python, please download Anaconda. So there's a software called Anaconda, which is a Python distribution software. So just Google Anaconda. It would be anaconda.com, anaconda.org. From there, you download Anaconda. And once you download that, you will be able to get onto something called Jupyter Notebook, which I will be using for demonstrating Python, which you will be using for your project. Okay. Just to repeat, github.com compulsory for everyone, all of you, whoever is in this meeting, whoever is going to be part of the signature course. rpubs.com only for people who are doing R. Anaconda only for people who are doing Python. Okay. RStudio, yeah, Devi Prasad, RStudio, correct. Okay, do that. And I would suggest that don't download both, because the softwares are heavy and your system might hang. And you'll have to check depending on the laptop you're using, depending on the system you're using. If it's a Windows laptop, there are different binaries there. If it's a Mac, there are different binaries. So you'll have to select a suitable software, suitable binaries for your system. Okay. So be careful of that. Be mindful of that. Okay. So this is the first step. So you do this and okay. Now, second, what is the output like? So what you have to do is, all of you have to collect data. So data is available on a website called kaggle.com. There's a website called www.kaggle.com. This is one source. There are plenty of sources available. So you don't have to use the same data set as it is. So I will tell you what you need to do. So go to kaggle.com. There you will find COVID-19 data set. You will find Uber data. So I'll tell you a bit of history. So what kaggle.com does is, it is again an open source thing where companies post their data, their real life data, because they want solution to problems. So Uber has an optimization problem. Uber wants the optimization of its routes in different cities. For example, if they want to optimize the Uber cars routes in New York, they will put the New York city data for Uber. So data will be what? Longitudes and latitudes, pick up and drop locations, and time taken, the fees, charges, and all that. So multiple kinds of data sets are available, and they want to crowdsource the solution for that. Okay. And Kaggle organizes those contests. You can also participate in those contests, and there's a very good prize money at the end of it. So people are able to solve that. So they want algorithms to be developed by individuals like us, but the criteria for giving away the prizes, the algorithm should be the fastest. The algorithm which reaches the conclusion the fastest gets the prize. So prizes can go up to $10,000 and stuff. Anyways, that is secondary. So you go to Kaggle and you need to combine that data with something else. You can combine that with GDP data, any government data. It could be economics, macroeconomic data, and there are other sources as well. So just search for sources. There is a University of Michigan has a machine learning lab. They also have a lot of data available, and go to those sources, Google them, find that data, combine that data. You can combine Kaggle data with macroeconomic data. So one thing, combining is a must. I don't want you to use the same data, pick it up and run some model and get an output. That is not acceptable. You have to combine the data and prepare a new data set and upload that data set in github.com. All of you, right? Excel, R, Python, doesn't matter. Okay, that is one. Second is, I have attached 4 PDFs into the meeting invite. I've uploaded that to your calendar. There's a book on R, there's a book on Python, there's a book on Excel, and there's a book by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is an investor, right? He's an angel investor. Okay. He's written a book called 0 to 1. So this is specific to the transition guys, the two people who have joined that course, but all of you can read this. It's a very good book. It's there in the Google Meet invite. So just go there and download or read those books. Now, I mean, completing all the books is impossible, right? So what I will suggest is go through those books in your respective areas and try to understand 3 or 4 chapters depending on your efficiency, depending on the amount of hard work you can put. Go through 3 4 chapters and try to implement those chapters, those algorithms into your project. Okay, don't use the same data, obviously. So one is you have to create your own data, then you can use that algorithm. So codes are there, so codes are there in the book. You can use the code or you can download the codes from the internet. All the programmers do that, but you have to modify those codes, run that, run a model. I leave it up to you what model you want to run. You can even do descriptive analysis. I'm fine with that, but the idea is you should be conversant with using these softwares. You should be conversant with creating a data set, how to clean a data set, how to manipulate a data set, in the good sense, manipulate in the sense, arrange the data properly so that you can get some output of it. And then once you are done with this exercise, okay, so 3 things. One is collecting data, second is organizing data and combining it with some other data set, then doing the analysis using the software of your choice, the one that you have chosen, and third is uploading that work in the form of a report on github.com. Okay, so I'll show you one such report. It's not a report, I'll show you something that I have done on GitHub. You'll find a lot of stuff that I have done. I will just show you one. Devi Prasad, I don't know R programming. Don't worry, if you are interested, you will learn. I will give you some demonstration. This is for beginners only, right? Nobody is an expert, including me. So if you go to GitHub, you will find my page. So I work on data science. So this is some analysis that I have done on the COVID-19 data set, right? So this is how the output looks like. So what additional you have to do is you will have to write comments on this, right? Comments will be like a report, right? Where did you take the data set? What were the objectives? And it should be like a proper report. All that can be done. I will tell you how. So see, this is the data from 30th January 2020. This is India-centric data on COVID-19. India, confirmed cases, number of deaths, number of recovered. So imagine on 30th March 2020, oh sorry, 30th January 2020, there was only one confirmed case in India. So I have just run all the Python. I have got these graphs. So I have basically done forecasting using this data just for practice. Okay. So these are the graphs I've got. I've done exponential smoothing. I have done some neural networks. I have used a program called LSTM, long short-term memory. So this is the comparison. So I've also done prediction, comparison between test and prediction. So I divided the data into test and prediction data sets and so on. So this is how your output should look like. Okay. So I have all these graphs and charts. This is forecast from May 1st to May 15th. So this is the confirmed cases. These are the actual cases. So here you see that my forecast is overestimating the confirmed cases. So all this stuff will come. Okay. And the codes are in this box. Okay. And this is something called LSTM, long short-term memory. There's a loss curve. All that you don't need to worry about. Comparison between test and predictions. So again, predictions are overestimates here. Then so these are the forecasts. So this is the forecast from May 1 to May 15. The cases would reach some 75,000 and so on. So this is how a GitHub page looks like. Okay. And I'll also show you some one RPubs example. So all your output will be shown there on GitHub, right? Now I'm showing you something on RPub. This I can also upload on GitHub. So is this visible? RPubs by RStudio?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I've done factor analysis on HR data. Now, actually, I am running a course, or I am working on a course with a colleague of mine from IBS Bangalore. So it is about analytics on HR data. So we are going to run that course. So this is in preparation for that. This was done on 21st of May this year. Okay. So this explains. So right, your report should like this. This is a fictitious data set. There are 7 variables. I explain the variables. Okay. And then I have the codes. These are the R codes, right? And then, so this also tells the story. Then I get the plot. This is called the plot that we have in factor analysis. These are the components. I think you would be undergoing factor analysis. You would be reading this factor analysis in some class or the other, especially in marketing analytics. Okay. So you can do this for the stock market data. You can do it for any financial data. You can do it for marketing HR. So it is industry agnostic, right? So, okay, let me show you the. So this is the actual components, right? So I got some 7 components, X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, X7 after doing factor analysis. And I did a rotation. After rotation, I got these loadings. And then that's what I do. So ultimately, the conclusion is this: factors obtained. We could divide these 7 variables into 3 factors. Variables X1, X2, X3, and X7 load highly on one component. This factor can be named as commitment variable. Then I have a soft skills variable. Then I have an independent nature variable. So what it tells us is the variables that I have used, they can be developed. They can be divided into 3 groups of variables called 3 groups of factors called commitment, soft skills, and independent nature. Now, this is just reducing the data set. From 7 variables, I have come to 3 factors, right? Now I can use these 3 factors, the factor scores of these, to find out which category of people perform the best in terms of output. So I can conclude based on that, people who are good on soft skills, they perform the best, or people who are having independent nature, they do the best, or people who have a high commitment do the best. So this is how your report should look like, right? So it should have the code, it should have the output, and it should be better arranged than mine. So I have not written a lot of what do you say? It's not written in a report format, but you should write in a report format with all the details. Okay. And this I can share online and you can check it, right? So if I just copy and paste it in your chat, you should be able to go there. It's on the internet, right? You can Google it and find it. So my objective is that I want to enhance your employability, right? So if you do a lot of projects and suppose the original data set is also original and you have created a new data set and you have written a report in a nice manner, then obviously your employability will go up and your confidence level will also go up. So this is what I want, right? So I think I've made myself clear. Now, timelines I've told you, 4 weeks starting from next week. And at the end of it, I should get this. So if I get this output, you will get the certificate. Okay. But objective is not the certificate. Objective is to learn something out of the program. Now I will stop and I will open the floor for questions and answers. Please go ahead, unmute yourself and ask me questions. Yeah. Go ahead.
So for
Yeah.
Python, will you be demonstrating each and every step, or do we have to refer the book and try it on our own?
I won't demonstrate every step, Kritika. How can I demonstrate every step? I will tell you the basic steps that will get you going. Okay. I will tell you how to import data. I will tell you how to type some code and get an output. But suppose you choose factor analysis, you will have to find that code and modify it and run that factor analysis on your data. But how to do that, I will tell you. I will demonstrate. Yes.
So actually, I'm a BCom graduate. So will it be difficult to learn Python?
It won't be difficult. It is like learning English, right? Learning a language for that matter. So Python is like English. It's one of the easiest languages to learn. Only thing is you will have to be sincere. You'll have to pay attention. Okay. And if required, I can have maybe 2 sessions for demonstrating Python. I don't mind having multiple sessions, provided you guys are serious.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, sir, you will be basically telling the syntax, and we need to use the syntax regarding the application, right?
Correct. Yes.
Says prior background of coding is required to learn Python.
I don't think so. It's not required. But if you are, what do you say, if you are allergic to coding, then obviously you'll find it difficult. But if you apply yourself, like I said, it's very easy. I also am an engineer. I'm an electronics and communication engineer, but I never liked coding. So I learned this on my own. I mean, I learned this when 2003, 4. So I learned SAS, I learned R, I learned SPSS, I learned Python on my own. So if you have the basic aptitude, which you have, you are in an MBA program, so you have a basic aptitude. So you can learn. For some people, it might get boring, but when you run a code and you get the output which is desired, the feeling is very good. You'll have to give some time and you'll have to have patience. That's all I can say. More questions? Yeah.
So, like you said that you are an electronics and communication engineer.
Hmm.
So, like, if we don't like coding, like I've already done C and C++, and I don't like coding at all. So, like, will it be good to do
See,
Python?
if you don't like coding and you can't sit through a half an hour session of coding, then I don't think this is for you. What I can say is it's easy to learn, but obviously if you have decided that I don't like coding, if you have done C, C++, it should be a cakewalk for you. But it is frustrating at times, as everything is, and everything becomes boring beyond a certain time period. But I won't say it is difficult. And I have interacted with a lot of people who have started from, in fact, I used to teach this at IBS earlier, and a lot of students who didn't have any programming background, they were the best students in the class. So I can give you that example. But you'll have to apply yourself with all your workload that you have, with all the assignments and tests that you have. You'll have to devote time, and you'll have to devote extra time, because if you are not very conversant with programming, you'll have to work harder. That's it. More questions?
Sir?
Yeah.
So actually, one of my friend was supposed to attend the session today, but
Hmm.
she had a mentor-mentee session, so she couldn't make it.
Hmm.
So she wanted me to just ask you, if she doesn't attend this session, does that mean she cannot attend the future sessions?
Ask her to speak with me. Ask her to send me an email. I will
Okay,
discuss
sir.
with her. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So for the R software, we need to will you get the
Yes.
R?
Yes,
We need to
Akash.
just we need to just download the R studios
That's
is
it.
available.
Our studio you need to download and make an account on github.com. And you also make one on rpubs.com, R publishing.
Okay.
So, from next week, what would be the class timings?
I would keep it around this time. Is it fine? 5:30 to 6, or you want it later? I can adjust. I have classes
So,
till what?
later would be possible because I have another signature course, online reputation management at the same time.
So you have on which day? Which day is that?
So, Wednesday and Thursday, I have it from 5:15 to 6:15.
No, so I won't keep it on Wednesday. I will keep it on Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, sir, that's fine then.
Okay. Yeah. And we won't have many sessions as such. I mean, for demonstration, I will have a couple of sessions maybe. If one session is sufficient, I will stop there. The rest of the things you have to do yourself. So you will have to find time and do the work. Any more questions?
So we'll have all the for all the groups we'll have the same session.
For all the groups? No. I will have separate sessions for each group from now onwards. Today was a common session. I'll have separate sessions.
Okay, so thank you.
Half an hour difference, or maybe I'll decide. I haven't decided yet, but you will get an invite. I have made separate groups.
So, any idea about Excel?
Excel, what?
So, when will we have our sessions for Excel?
When do you want it?
So, at this time, any day of the week is fine.
Correct. So I will do that. Yeah, I will do that. Either at this time or maybe half an hour later.
All right, sir. Okay.
Either 5:30 or 6 or maybe 6:30.
Okay, sir.
So I'll adjust. That's not a problem. That should not be a problem. If it works for majority of people, it works for me.
So for the project, will you be
Hmm.
giving us the problem statement or it's up
Now
to
I
us?
leave it up to you. I don't want it to be my project because you have decided your area, right? So I can't pressurize you to work on something that I like. So you choose your area wherever you think data is available, and there are a lot of data sources. And then on Kaggle.com for finance, there's a lot of data set available. For marketing, also there are lots of data sets available. So I will
Okay.
let you choose it. You can. It could even be a descriptive answer.
Sir?
I don't mind. It could be a multiple regression. Yeah, Vaishali.
Sir, will there be load on me as I have opted for Excel and Python both?
No, no, you can't do both. Didn't I write you an email? Choose one. Choose one. Don't choose both. It would be impossible for you
Okay,
to do
sir.
it. You decide which one you want.
So,
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
I
One
was
at
hoping to offer a student transformation from student to management as
correct.
well as Excel. Would it be
Hmm.
okay if it's
No, no, no. Don't do two. You decide. You decide. I think you said transitioning, right? No?
yeah.
So just do
Transitioning and
transitioning.
Excel. See, transitioning is a bit of a soft subject, so I guess I'll be able to manage. That's why I was having this query.
No, no. So policy is for all the subjects, right? So I've decided that I won't allow more than one option. And I
sir,
hope, yeah.
sir, which one is more better, sir? This R or Python, sir?
Okay, so I will tell you. So most of the programmers prefer Python, and because the number of programmers in the world is higher, Python is more popular. Most statisticians prefer R, but number of statisticians in the world is less, so R is used less as compared to Python. Researchers basically use R, and both the softwares can be used for almost all the things. So that way, there's no difference. Does that answer your question?
So,
Priyanshi, yeah.
so Python is a coding language. Like, sir, I know Java,
Yeah,
C,
yeah, yeah. It
SQL,
is based on
HTML.
C
I have
and
learned that.
it is based on C, C++ only. Yes, Python.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, sir, I have the logic. I know because generally in languages there's just a difference of format. So
Exactly.
like in this, you'll be teaching about the formats only, right, sir? Like
Yes,
the syntax,
yes,
and the main logic we only have to develop, right?
correct. So
Uh,
the problem
yeah.
that you are trying to solve, you'll have to find out, you'll have to collect the data, you'll have to do the analysis. I'll just tell you the basic steps, how to get the data in, how to run maybe one or two models that I will tell you, and rest of it should be easy. Once you know how to import data, how to run the code, where to see the output, where to save it, how to save it, then it should be easy. Okay.
So sir, we'll be focusing on the machine learning libraries in Python. Means.
It's up to you. If you want to do a machine learning problem, do that. You can choose any library. I leave it up to you. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm okay with even descriptive statistics, if you want to do machine learning visualization, do that. Anything can be done. And for visualization also, a lot of data sets are available online, free to use. So if you think that you can go to that level and that will help you, do that. That's why I'm leaving it to you, right?
Okay.
So I will
So
tell
what
you
will be the duration?
what will be the
Duration.
4 weeks. 4 weeks, that's it. Starting next
It will be beginning from the next week, right, sir?
beginning from next week, starting from Monday next week.
Okay.
I would be flexible with that if you are taking more time, because ultimately you will get the certificate at the end of the semester only. So, but we have to keep some targets. So keep 4 weeks in mind. Maybe 1 week here or there is fine for me.
So all of the course will be beginning from next week, right? All the 4 courses.
All the four courses will begin from next week. Yes.
Okay, sir. Are there any other prerequisites which you feel like we should be, focusing on before the classes start?
Any more?
Prerequisites, like, do we need to go through anything like
So
before the
prerequisites is, yeah, I think I told you. So create an account on GitHub, create an account on RPubs, look for data sets, go to kaggle.com, try searching. You will find a lot of inputs on Quora. You will find a lot of inputs on Reddit. Just go through those things. So whichever area interests you, you can look for data in that area. You will find it. And then you think of the analysis and also think of how will you combine data, which data sets you want to combine. Do you want to link it to the macroeconomic data? Do you want to link it with some educational data and things like that? So the thinking has to start today only, right?
Sure, sir.
And try reading this book, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
Okay, sir.
So what he essentially says is, I mean, at the beginning only he says, the next Bill Gates won't develop an operating system. The next Mark Zuckerberg won't develop a social media company. The next Sergey Brin won't develop a search engine. So people have to think something new. So essentially what he says is, if you are doing something that you already know, then you will only take the industry from 1 to n. That is, you are not going to do something new. So you will start another, what do you say, food delivery app, or you would start another search engine, or you would start another hardware company, software company, and so that. So if you have to become great in that sense, if you want to become different, you'll have to think about a new application altogether. That is, you need to go from 0 to 1. You don't have to go from 1 to n, go from 0 to 1. So that's the crux of his book, and that's the title, 0 to 1. So that's what he says. Read that. It's an interesting read. I think it's not very long. It's around 160 pages. You would have seen that. And do you listen to podcasts? Listen to one podcast which I like is The Seen and the Unseen. Listen to that podcast. Amit Verma. There are lots of podcasts. So I mean, if you want to understand research, you want to understand policy, you want to understand how to think about problems, it's an amazing podcast. So he has a recent episode which is 3 hours 20 minutes long with Professor Karthik of UCLA. And he's a PhD from Harvard. He talks about the new education policy, and he's been an advisor to the Indian government. He has contributed to the new education policy. So we'll understand what are the important things that are there which can improve the education system of India. So it will broaden your horizon. It will tell you how to think about different kinds of problems, right? Don't be narrow-minded as of now. I mean, you are just going to start your career. Maybe you have some 3-4 years of work, some of you, but you have to think broad as of now. Only PhDs think narrowly, right? So you should think broad, try to understand as many topics as you can, try to understand as many concepts as you can. That's how you should go ahead. So any more questions? If there's nothing else, we'll call it a day, and I will send you the invite for next week's meeting. So you still have time to think. If you want to drop out of this signature course, you're welcome. You can do that. And if you want to continue, please follow the guidelines that I have given you and start thinking about your project. Okay. And we can discuss that in detail. And please don't do copy paste, right? So if you do copy paste, I mean, you'll get a certificate, but there won't be any learning, right? So I don't have any problems in giving away certificates because anyways, whatever they are worth. But if you want to learn, you'll have to get your hands dirty. You'll have to work hard. You'll have to look for data sets, look for problems which you want to solve. So there's a lot of data available on education thing also, right? Schools data, teacher absenteeism, students enrollment ratios, all that. So much data. So there's a government database. Indian government has got a very good database, data.gov.in. There you can look at the electricity supply data. So all the government schemes that they have provided data, and it's again free. They have census data there. So you can combine things with census data, right? Census data has some 190 or 200 odd variables, okay, for some 640,000 villages that we have in India. So there are multiple ways of thinking. So you don't always think that I'll have to do some complicated analysis to come out. So from that podcast only, I'll give you an example. So most of us think that the government is spending a lot of money on government schools, right? So they have increased the salaries of teachers. They have constructed good schools. They have constructed a lot of facilities. But the problem there is nobody is measuring outcomes. Nobody is measuring outcomes. Everything is focused on inputs. So if I'm the chief minister of a particular state, and if I'm the education minister of a particular state, I will spend a lot of money in constructing school buildings. I will invest a lot of money or spend a lot of money on increasing the teachers' salaries. I will spend a lot of money on giving computers or laptops to children, saying that I have spent my budget, I have spent, let's say, 100 crores on this. So my job ends. So we are only focusing on inputs. But the problem is when you see in a class, let's say in grade 8, in a typical government school, I'm not talking about the good schools in Delhi. Delhi is doing very well. But in some states, if you look at students in class 8, 50% of them will have a level of a class 3 student. Okay. So for them, the education is a waste, right? So whatever the teacher is saying, if the teacher is present in the class, he or she won't understand, because we don't measure outcomes, because incentives are not aligned that way. So how the governments win elections, they say that I have given access to girl child, I've given access to computers to all these students, I have increased the salaries of teachers, so all of them give votes. So we are focused on inputs, we are not measuring outcomes properly. Okay. And we need to make sure that by grade 3 the students are at the same level in government schools, right? So they are what they call it, numerate. So they can understand 1 2 3 4 up to 100. They can understand how to sign, they can read a chapter in Hindi or whatever regional language, Telugu or Tamil or whatever, right? So the simple idea is the focus on outcome is missing. So how do you find this out? By doing research, by doing analytics, by analyzing data. And he has all hard facts. So all this gives you a lot of ideas as to what should be done. Okay. Similarly, he talks about there are 3 things in education which should be which are the focus. One is access, second is equity, and third is quality. So access is everybody who wants to study should be able to study or go to a school. Equity is there should not be any differences in the education attainment levels of people because of poverty or anything. And third is the quality of education should be good. Now again, what he says is the way you measure this is different. Again, they measure on the basis of input parameters. If everybody has got a laptop, they have equity. Okay. If everybody is going to class 8, promoted to class 8, they have quality education. So the point which is repetitive, he says these should be measured on outcomes, right? So if you take a test of grade 8 students, so most of the students should score in between a certain level. So again, the focus should be on outcome measures and not on the input measures. So this way you can have ideas. There are very good packages in R on financial analysis. There are very good books on financial analysis using R, using Python. So you can get ideas, because most of you will have different specializations, right? I'm assuming marketing, finance, HR, operations. You can do linear optimization. If someone is interested in operations, you can do optimization for the Uber data set. You combine that data set with what do you call the metro rail data, the subway data. So in fact, I have written a case on Uber, which is published in the UK, this case library. It's called the CDC, Case Development Cell, where I have combined data from Kaggle, and I've also used the data from the New York subway. So I'm comparing basically, does the traffic on the subway affect the demand for Uber? So that kind of analysis I have done. And that is also available on GitHub. Okay. Again, if you have questions, you can ask, or at least I'm done. We'll meet next week if you decide to continue.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye bye. And you can always go back to the calendar and look at this video. And you can also please download all the books, all the PDFs. And you can search the internet. You will have loads of books on all these topics. Nothing new. And there are a lot of books depending on your area of interest. Choose a book and start reading it and focus on only 2-3 chapters. Don't focus on something big that you are going to reinvent something. Focus on some basic things so that basic understanding is there. That's where I'll stop. Okay. Thank you and goodbye. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.